flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are meeting here today to conduct matters of business, guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought, and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Amen. The Open Public Meetings Act is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Also pursuant to the 2015 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for the receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting this public announcement and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Beaufort. Here. Freeholder Donald.
Here.
Freeholder Gargano.
Here.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Here.
And Director O'Brien.
Here. And now I'll be looking for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 25th, 2015, and of the conference meeting of February 11th, 2015. Motion by Freeholder Bellegarde. Second?
Second.
Freeholder Donnelly. Questions? Additions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
The minutes are approved. This time, I'm going to ask Freeholder Bellegarde to please present a proclamation with regard to the American Red Cross Month. Great, thank you.
So I think we have with us tonight June Cernak as well as Peg Knight, if you ladies would like to come up. So I know we've done this in years past, but it's no less important this year, and we thank you for all of the work that the American Red Cross does in Burlington County, throughout South Jersey, the state, and the world, really. So I'll just read the proclamation. Whereas the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington wish to recognize and thank the American Red Cross, our everyday heroes, who reach out to help their neighbors when they are in need. And whereas the Red Cross responds to approximately 70,000 disasters in the United States every year, ranging from home fires that affect a single family, to hurricanes that disrupt tens of thousands, to earthquakes that impact millions. And whereas the unwavering commitment of the American Red Cross to members of the United States military, its veterans, and their families continues to grow and develop more than a century after Clara Barton first recruited nurses to support the United States Army. And whereas the Red Cross is a leader in research and testing to protect the safety of the blood supply, and we're among the first to develop and implement testing for many infections, including HIV, hepatitis B and C viruses, West Nile virus, and countless others. And whereas patients at approximately 2,700 hospitals and transfusion centers around the country receive Red Cross blood products, and whereas our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian vision, now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington does hereby proclaim March 2015 as American Red Cross Month, dedicated to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies, and encourage all Americans to support this organization and its noble humanitarian mission. So, thank you. I'd like to say a few words, but I would certainly encourage, all of our residents throughout Burlington County to get involved, whether it's by donating blood, donating time. It really is a truly spectacular event.
As the Executive Director for the Southwest region, I have Burlington, Camden, and Gloucester counties, which represents about 1.3 million individuals. We actually answer almost 300 fire calls a year So you can just imagine how much effort that takes for our disaster volunteers to help the community, where we give food, clothing, and shelter to each of those families during the course of that time. So we thank you very much for acknowledging Martha's Red Cross Month, and definitely if you can come by our offices, give blood, or volunteer, we gladly welcome that as well.
Quick picture and,
Not get my secrets.
Good thing I was on top of that. I just want for the record. Great, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, now at this point, we're going to move on to the public hearing for item G. Gina, please.
Public hearing on an ordinance number 2015-42 of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, New Jersey, authorizing and approving and entering into execution delivery of the First Amendment to lease and agreement by and between the county and the Burlington County Bridge Commission in connection with the issuance of the Commission's lease revenue refunding bonds, Resource Recovery Complex Project, Series 2015, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $5,500,000 to advance refund a portion of the Commission's outstanding lease revenue bonds, Resource Recovery Complex Project, Series 2006, and appropriating $5,500,000 for the cost of the county Resource Recovery Refunding Project, and authorizing other necessary actions in connection with said financing.
Okay, we'll now entertain public comment on this item only. Is there anyone who'd like to comment on this item? So, assuming that no people who have signed their names here do not wish to comment on this particular item. All right, so at that point, I will close the public comment portion, and I will make a motion to adopt. Do I have a second? Second. Second by Freeholder Belgard. Roll call?
Freeholder Belgard.
Yes.
Freeholder Donnelly.
Yes.
Freeholder Gardano.
Yes.
Freeholder Schwartz.
Yes.
And Director O'Brien.
Yes. Okay, now at this point, we will move on to public comment on agenda items. At this point of the meeting, public comment is limited to items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wishes to speak on any other topic will have a chance to do so later on in the meeting. Do we have any public comments on agenda items? So at this point, we'll move on to our resolutions. I would like to make a motion that we approve resolutions I-1 through I-13 by unanimous consent. Second by Freeholder Donnelly. Any questions? Thank you. Go right ahead.
Thank you very much. Mr. Troy, on the bills list, I don't have too many questions tonight, but on page 38, the Lamy and Giorgio, I don't know if I say their names right, bill for $156,637.19. Can you tell me what that is for?
I can't recall that this is for architectural services, right? That's architectural services
Okay.
for the college.
Okay. My only other question is page 48, Harper McKay. There's a bill there for $2,207.50. Is that a bond issue? Rain bonds?
The 11750, that was for 2014 IRS exam, had to do with the 2003 bond issue.
Okay.
And the other amount was advice for general public finance assistance, and I have copies of it.
Oh. All right, that is all the questions that I have on the bills. All right. I do also have a question on I-13, which is authorization to purchase disposable molded wood products with films for 2015 from Oliver Packaging and Equipment Company. for an estimated amount of $31,229. My first question is, what exactly is molded pole products with film?
Trays.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing, am I right about that?
We have Department Head of Human Services and Plans and also answer that question for you.
Yeah, that's correct. It's the Meals on Wheels trays that the meals are delivered in.
They sound much fancier when you call them molded pole products with film. And then my second question was related to the same item there. It has to do with the resolution itself, because I was a little unclear with the numbers. So it says that we anticipate spending $31,229, an amount over $17,500, but not to exceed $36,000. But then at the end, where it actually says what is resolved, it says that we are going to purchase disposable molded pole products in the amount of $15,600. Said purchase order to be increased for an amount not to exceed $36,000. Is that because, so we're adding an additional $15,600? Do I understand that right?
I have this.
Okay.
We're actually running out of trays. We had to do the $15,000 right away.
Okay.
And they were going to add to it.
Okay. So we're adding the $15,000 to bring us up to an amount not to exceed
Yes,
$36,000.
because we,
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. All right, are there any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Moving on to Freeholder Johnson.
Thank you, Director. At this time, I would move the unanimous consent of resolution items numbered I-14 and I-15.
Motion by Freeholder Donnelly. Second. Second by Freeholder Belvoir. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Move on to Freeholder Gargano.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd like to make a motion to approve items I-16 through I-25 by unanimous consent.
Motion by Freeholder Gargano. Second. Second by Freeholder Belvoir. Any questions?
I do have a question. On I-24, this is for the purchase of 3 hour-reward warning lights with trailers, not to exceed $59,532. Are we replacing, I guess this is for the engineer, are we replacing these boards or these new boards that we're adding?
These are new boards with crash attenuators.
What is that?
Crash attenuators, when we're doing work, typically you see them like at our DOT projects. If travel's not paying attention, if they ran in the back of it, it would absorb the energy from the crash.
Oh,
So we just started adding them the last couple of years.
how long do they last, these boards?
If they don't get hit, they last a long.
One crash, that's
Those crash attenuators work, right? Okay. All right, those are all the questions I have.
All right, any other questions? And hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Freeholder Schwartz.
This time, I'd like to propose unanimous consent, item number 26, I-26.
Second.
Okay, motion by Freeholder Schwartz, second by Freeholder Donnelly. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. This time, I will be making appointments to the Transportation Advisory Committee. These appointments are for 1 year. They are Donald Brockman, Samuel Codines, James Howe, Joe McDyer, Marie Canatero, Denny Todd, Fernando Avila, Jerry Kilkenny, Linda Cushing, Kelly West, and Walt Tate. And with that, we'll entertain questions from the press. Any questions from the press?
No.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll move on to public comment. So we have, first person here is Howard Jones.
As you know, I was here in December. Well, I'll give you credit, you did start to pause a little bit. But now my question is, why can't I have a meeting with some of you, I don't care who, I'll go where you can call and show you the paperwork and the pictures that I have taken with this mess that the county has put me through in the last 40 years.
Mr. Jones, I think the problem that we're having at this point is we've really dug into a lot of the paperwork and everything. We've had our legal team look at it, we've had our engineer look at it, and I'm not really sure there's a lot more that we can do at this point.
That's because they won't accept the paper that they authorize. If you want me to give you a good example, do you know Jeff Wright?
Yes.
He's the one that said, like this tree that they're arguing over in the beginning. When he walked down my driveway, he said, this tree has to come down because it blocks your view from oncoming traffic, which is coming east on Church Road. Now, before, when tracks were there, like 35 was the normal speed. Now 70 is the normal around here. Now, to follow that up, you know Harry Wendrick?
Yeah, they're crazy, yeah.
That's right. Now, why would he have praised this tree in the beginning before the project even got started if the tree wasn't to come down?
I think the problem ends up being that whether it was appraised or not appraised, I think part of it there has to be something in writing that says the tree was going to come down. I mean, and they're the types of things we'd have to want. What was said to someone as you're walking up, I mean, we're getting it from both sides, if this was said, it wasn't said. So if it's in writing, we'll do it. I mean, that's what we have to have at this point. I'm not sure.
Afraid of it. You can't trust them.
Well, I mean, as dealing with the public trust, we need to have something in writing that says what has to be done. And I'm not sure at that point if there's anything more that we can do. I'm not sure, you know, how we can help you at that point. If there's something you have in writing, we will get it done.
They got nothing in writing. It's all verbal from Jeff Wright. And when he turns around and walks away, he won't admit that he said any of this stuff. I got a concrete back apron on my back driveway, all cracked, and he was supposed to replace it. When the project was getting done, they put blacktop down. He said, will you accept this? And I said, no, right then and there. He said, well, I'll do it in the spring when I got to replace the curb. The curb has been replaced, nothing happened. He's got a lot of problems there that he won't admit to, but they're there. And I know why. Because the cost overrun on that project had to be tremendous because of all the boners that he pulled. And I'm just trying to get him straightened out. I'm not asking for nothing more than what he said.
And I understand what you're saying. I truly do. I think that where we're at now, if it's on the punch list, and it's those types of items that haven't been addressed, they will, but if we don't have it and it's not documented, at this point, I don't see where else we can go with it.
So I end up eating this mess.
If it's not documented, I don't know where else we can go with it.
You want to take a good document? The devalue of my property. 2 months ahead of them doing the project, the township came around and they appraised the property. After the project was done, guess what the value of the property is? Over $50,000 less. Now that's in writing. All you got to do is go to the courthouse. Now that we're coming up, which is something I do have in writing, movement of the monument, which our grant. The fellow didn't come out and he laid out where he's going to put the curb. Now I want a new plot plan certified by, to go downstairs, and the amount of ground taken off of the property that they come through, because there's property that shouldn't be paying taxes for. And I do have a letter in writing to that effect. It isn't much, and I can't guarantee you who the signature is, because it's one little scriggly line, and that's it, but it is from the county engineer. And the words, 2 words, move monument.
Well, the monuments were accomplished, correct? They weren't moved.
No.
Are you sure of that, sir?
I am positive. There's 3 steel staples. The man came out, I'll give you credit, after you got on him, that he did come out, the surveyor. He laid out where they're going to be, but the ground was frozen. I said, look, I can wait till spring until the weather thaws. But he hasn't located where it's going to be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, as soon as the ground's not frozen, yeah, we'll permanently plant them. That's...
All right, now one more. The county put 2 catch basins on my property, being they made a retention pond out of it. Who's going to maintain them? And I want this in writing.
Yeah, if they're out, they're out. We would be
Oh, they belong to the county.
It's on county property at this point.
No. Don't get that wrong. There's one on the county, not even on the county. It's in my yard. I told you, they made a retention pond down on my property. There's one in the front and one in the back. Now, before they put the one in the front, I can even show you pictures of it, that I had a flood. And there was over 4 inches of water in my barn because my yard floods now, if any of it stops up.
Joe, what type of basin are we speaking of?
Regular,
To
A1
my
catch
knowledge,
basin.
to my knowledge, there was no catch basin constructed that was on private property. That is not something we would do. It's not something we would normally get permitted. So I don't necessarily understand what he was speaking, but if we constructed a basin, we would have bought the land for the basin and we would be responsible for the maintenance. If it's on private property, it's not ours.
Check your
It's probably
record.
a pre-existing condition.
Check your record. I had to sign off on an easement to allow them to trespass on my property, which was signed by me, and I asked for a copy. Do you think I ever got it? No.
To my knowledge, there was a portion of the gentleman's property taken, he was compensated, and the conditions of the compensation, as well as anything that was enumerated that was going to be part of that consideration, has already been done. It is not county policy to construct a basin on private property.
Are you saying it's a basin with a drain and outlay and all of that?
Correct.
It's on your property?
That's correct. 2 of them. One on New Freedom Road and one on Church Road.
And it's not on the property that the county had purchased?
Nope.
Freeholder, my recollection is this was only a roadway widening easement. No property was purchased in fee. In my recollection, this was only for the roadway widening project, not for any drainage issues.
Sir, they will go look and see if they are constructed by.
They won't even, excuse me, they won't even honor me with a return
Well,
call.
they're going to go in there tomorrow and see if there are basins that we construct, and if they're on our property or your property. And we'll get that back, and then they're going to give you a return call, tell you one way or the other.
They constructed them, they put them in when they did the road configuration.
Okay, I mean, and that's what they're going to go back and look at tomorrow, and you will get a phone call tomorrow from the engineering department. Okay?
What do we do about my back concrete driveway?
If it's not in writing, I think it's what I said earlier, the agreement that was there, it has to be in writing, it has to be on the checklist, it has to be on the punch list of these projects. It's not something that we can just go do a tree or do a driveway or do things like that if they didn't make that punch list. When that project was done, I'm sure that they came out, they reviewed what was done, what was supposed to be done, and it was written down, and then it was acted upon.
Well, nobody ever checked. There's a lot of things there that isn't done that should have been done.
Well, I mean, at this
And
point,
it's
I'm not
not
sure.
on my property, it's also over on the other property.
Understood. I understand what you're saying, but at this point on this project, I think we're tied into what we have in writing.
Yeah.
If we have a basin on your property that we built, we'll make good.
I want it in writing that they're gonna maintain it.
Well, I mean, if it's on your property, that's one of the things I think we're just saying is we don't normally do that, so that's a bigger issue.
I can't help it. I didn't make a retention pond down on my property.
They will be looking at that tomorrow, and they will call you tomorrow.
I wouldn't trust them.
All right.
It's been 40 years and they haven't been trustworthy. Why would they start now? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we have Steve Stern.
Thank you.
Mr. Stern, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
I just want to apologize for the error in the email that I sent you the other day. I was getting ahead of myself. I dated it April 7th instead of March 7th. But,
Oh, well, the email says March 7th.
that's one of those things that you see right after you hit send. And I'm not going to rehash my comments from last month regarding making Burlington County kind of the shining star for ethical behavior. I think this group is very ethical, but I think because, as we see when we read the paper every day, the line between what's legal and what's ethical and what's not legal is kind of a gray area. I really would like to see a commission put together to draft something that nails that down so that the general public can have a lot more confidence in their government, and we start reversing this trend of voter antipathy towards our elected officials. So thank you for your attention, and I just hope you'll address this soon.
If I may.
Yeah.
Thank you for your email.
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday, I turned it over to staff on Monday. I didn't have any anticipation of them having a report back to me today. I started peeling the onion back a little bit on this organization, and I didn't get far, admittedly. It was something only a late Sunday afternoon, so I kind of stopped looking. But
Thank you for taking this.
Yeah, well, not done, but I
don't expect a response today.
But I just want to be clear, it's a process we have to take a look at. And I want to thank you too for recognizing that we have in fact taken, well, this board collectively and our predecessor boards have done a great job in terms of ethics programs, being arguably among the first in the state to offer a comprehensive ethics program. But give us a little time to take a look at this, peel the onion back, look at this organization a little bit more closely, look at philosophy a little bit more closely, and we'll see what we can come to.
Okay, if there's anything I can do to help, I'll be glad to volunteer my time to talk to anybody here.
Definitely.
Thanks.
Joan, let me just say that even whether it's this organization or another, I think this is a great idea and something that, we could be rather cutting edge with.
I think we have this cutting edge already.
Yeah,
so
no,
it's-
I think this just gives us another potential tool to do that.
Okay, anyone else from the public? Okay, seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting and move on to freeholder comment. First, we'll go to freeholder Bogart.
Thank you. Well, first I would like to say congratulations to our soon-to-be former administrator, Paul Drayton, as many probably read in the person moving to the college. So thank you for your years of service and best wishes and congratulations to you. I would note just a few notes. The St. Patrick's Day parade that was scheduled to be I guess this past week is now scheduled for Mount Holly on the 29th, which is a Sunday. I think it's going to be at noon instead of the 1 o'clock start time. I know it's a little bit after the St. Patrick's Day holiday, but if folks can come out, I'm sure it's going to be a lovely event even after the holiday. I also wanted to make note that in addition to now being Red Cross Month in the county, March is also Women's History Month. And in recognition of that, myself, as well as Freeholder Director Brian and Freeholder Schwartz, along with a number of other elected women throughout Burlington County, are going to be hosting an event on March 30th at the auditorium of the Burlington County College at 6 o'clock. We're going to be showing the film Iron Jawed Angels, which is about Alice Paul, Burlington County's own Alice Paul, who was one of the leaders of the suffrage movement here in the United States. And this is going to be a film that's being shown around the country in conjunction with the Alice Paul Institute, as well as the National Foundation of Women's Legislators. So I'm really excited that we have so many folks involved here in Burlington County, and I think it should be a really great event. So if you're able to come out, March 30th, the Burlington County Library Auditorium at 6 o'clock.
Very good. Thank you. Freeholder Schwartz.
No comments.
Okay. Freeholder Donnelly.
Nothing, thank you.
Freeholder Gargano.
No.
Okay. Well, then I'd like to close by pointing particular attention to two specific actions we took tonight. As I'm sure you have all noticed, winter storms and frigid temperatures have turned many local and county roads into pothole minefields. Our road crews have been hard at work combating these storms and keeping up with repairs. Tonight, we took steps to beef up these efforts and are asking our towns to join with us in addressing this important public safety issue. As such, we have approved a shared services program to offer free asphalt patch to municipalities willing to assist with the filling of potholes on roads. Also, to address more extensive roadway damage, we've awarded a contract for emergency asphalt paving services. This will allow for the timely milling and paving of areas in which the damage is significant and extends beyond the opportunity for patching. Under another shared service agreement, this repair contract will be available to Burlington County College, Burlington County Institute of Technology, and Burlington County Special Services School District, along with any municipality. We're certain that this all hands-on-deck approach in collaboration with our municipalities and residents is the most effective way to quickly restore our roads to the condition that our traveling public deserves. So with that, I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight, and I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn. So, motion by Freeholder Belvin. Second? Second by Freeholder Schwartz. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.